Hey guys, this is your second video for the week, and this deals with the periodic table. So your title, Periodic Table, Patterns and Such. The periodic table was put together based off of information that was given. Chemists studied elements, but at the time, they only knew about certain elements that were available. And a guy by the name of Dmitri Mendeleev, and you guys are going to be doing some research this week on him, was a chemist, and he liked to play cards. And you guys know that when you play cards, whether you play hearts or spades or poker, whatever it is, there's some sort of pattern. And the periodic table is all about patterns. So take a look at this. This is the periodic table. You'll notice this is all of the known elements, and they're arranged in a particular order. The periodic table is a tool for you. In my class, you don't have to have this memorized. You really don't even have to have it memorized in high school. You might have to memorize it in college if you are a chemistry major. But as long as you know how to read it and you know what information is given to you, you can always find what you need. So that's what I'm going to do for you today. I'm going to start showing you some patterns. So the first pattern is called columns and rows, or groups and periods. And you'll notice that the columns are orange and the rows are purple. On your periodic table, at the very beginning of your notebook, this is exactly what you need to do. You need to go ahead and label. You'll see that columns go up and down, and there are 18 columns in the periodic table. The rows, or the periods, go from left to right, and there are 7 rows and periods. Now these columns and rows are going to help us next week when we start talking about the reactivity, because that's ultimately what we're headed towards. How do elements interact with one another? Let's focus on their chemical properties. So columns and rows, columns go up and down, rows go across. You need to pause the video and go ahead and add this to your periodic table. The second trend that I want to show you is atomic number and atomic mass. Now, when Mendeleev was arranging the order of the elements that he knew about, he didn't know about protons. He had no idea that protons were inside of the nucleus. He only knew about the atomic mass. So he organized them according to how heavy those particular elements were. The atomic number is going to increase from left to right and top to bottom. So hydrogen being the smallest and MT being the largest at this point. Now, on your periodic table, you may see 110, 111, 112, 113 filled in. Those elements are synthetically made or made in a laboratory. The atomic mass also increases from left to right and top to bottom. So the lightest elements are on the top left corner and the heaviest elements are on the bottom right corner. Now, you'll notice that there are 2 rows at the bottom of your periodic table. This is the lanthanide and actinide series, and I have drawn arrows to show you exactly where those fit. At this time, I want you to pause the video and go ahead and label your periodic table with this pattern trend. The third pattern or trend that we're looking at today is the elements when they were organized. Mendeleev started noticing that they had similar properties. And you'll notice that there are 3 groupings: metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. The metals are purple, the nonmetals are green, and the metalloids are orange. You'll notice the metals make up the largest percentage of the periodic table. These are going to be things that we usually think of when we think of metals. Nonmetals are going to be the things on the far right of the periodic table: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, chlorine, and then all of the gases that are in the very last column. Metalloids, there's a very small number of them, 7, and they are located in between. There's usually a stepping stone between these 2 groups. Pause the video and go ahead and color in or outline metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. The last piece, I want you to just pause this, and these are some general characteristics of metals, nonmetals, and metalloids. All 3 groups have properties, and their properties determine exactly where they end up on the periodic table. And you'll notice that they're very different in that metals are shiny, nonmetals are dull. We've got solids, liquids, and gases across the periodic table. We have things that conduct electricity. And that's a wrap.